All right, we were told the wind was coming, and you weren't kidding. It is really bitter out there.
I know this morning with Steve, I know folks had a hard time believing it because it really wasn't that bad early this morning. But boy, since then, things have changed, Denise. First alert weather day today because the Arctic air has arrived. This is the coldest air of the season so far for most neighborhoods across our region, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Tonight's temperatures will feel like they're in the teens when you factor in the wind. Those wind gusts up to 55 miles per hour at times this afternoon, and then through the evening hours, we have a wind advisory for greater Baltimore that goes until 6 p.m. And again, the worst of it in terms of the wind chill numbers, that will wait until after dark. Once we lose the sunlight today, boy, is it going to get cold for any Thursday evening plans you have. As we mentioned earlier, you're going to need to bundle up, cover all exposed skin. It's definitely a day and a night for hats, for gloves, for scarves. Those gusts up to 55 miles per hour. And even the sustained wind is no joke, between 20 and 30 miles per hour. Here's how it feels outside right now when you factor in the wind. Annapolis at 29, same thing at BWI. We have temperatures that feel like they're in the mid-20s over in Columbia, all the way over into the Frederick area where it feels like 22, and even over on the Eastern Shore. Those temperatures feel like they're in the 20s. So wind chill numbers here, hour by hour, 2 p.m. 26, by 4 p.m. 24. And then again, as we see the sunset, which will be right after 4:30, you can see those numbers dropping into the teens for the wind chill numbers. Let's take a look at the wind going forward. Using the First Alert Futurecast, you can just watch the clock here above my head. So as we go through the afternoon, you can see these gusts hanging out in the 30, 40, even 50 mile per hour range. I mentioned the wind advisory for Baltimore ends at 6 p.m., but it's not like the wind's just going to shut off. It's going to continue even after the advisory expires. Overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. The wind tomorrow won't be as bad as today, but it's not exactly going to be calm for our Friday. Those wind gusts will still be up into the 20s, maybe even hitting 30 miles per hour at times as we go into tomorrow afternoon. Now, the precipitation we had with the front, we expected it to be limited, and it was. Had a little bit of rain and snow. Some neighborhoods had a snowflake or raindrop early on, especially to the east and south of Baltimore. That activity has since moved offshore, and we're dry across Maryland. But to the north of us, that's where the main storm system is. So parts of Pennsylvania up into New York, they are getting some snow. For us, though, we're going to keep it dry now through the night. It's just cold. Overnight temperatures falling into the 20s. Again, these numbers you see here on the map, they do not take into consideration the wind. So, yeah, it'll be 27 for an air temperature tonight in Baltimore, but you factor in the wind, it'll feel colder. Hagerstown down to 27 for an overnight low tonight. Will be 28 over in Easton. Here are the morning wind chills for the next 10 days. Look at this. Tomorrow morning, teens is how it will feel. Saturday morning, same thing. And then notice we start having this warm up as we go into the weekend. The second half of the weekend and into early next week, and then we drop off again for the middle and end of next week. So just looking at the morning wind chills really gives you the story for the next week and a half of how things will change. Carroll County for this afternoon, temperatures in the 30s all across the region, and then tomorrow 38 for a high, but again the temperatures in the morning feeling like they're in the teens. Not as cold by the weekend. 53 on Sunday, 55 on Monday with some rain in the forecast, and then all the way up to 64 on Tuesday. So some patience is needed, but warmer weather is coming for early next week.